As of 5th of March 2026, the possibility of the wider conflict surrounding Iran spilling physically into the South Caucasus is no longer a matter of conjecture. It is something that has already occurred. The drone attack on Nakhchivan airport, which Baku officially described as a terror act against Azerbaijan, together with 2 instances of Iranian missiles violating Turkish airspace, has prompted strong reactions from both Baku and Ankara, along with criticism from several regional and international actors directed at Tehran. In both cases, there appears to be a growing consensus that the threats and attacks originate from Iranian territory, most likely involving units linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. These incidents raise a number of pressing questions about the risk of further spillover of the conflict into Azerbaijani and Turkish territory, the need for coordinated containment, and the implications for the strategic alliance between Turkey and Azerbaijan, which includes a NATO Article 5-style mutual defense clause. Iran, however, has not accepted responsibility for these incidents and has even questioned whether the attacks originated from its territory. This has led to broader questions about Iran's internal decision-making structures and the mixed signals coming from Tehran, where IRGC commanders appear to be saying one thing, while civilian leadership, in the person of President Pezeshkian and others, they project collectively a more conciliatory tone. At the same time, President Ilham Aliyev has described the Nakhchivan strike as a terror act against Azerbaijani territory, has demanded that those responsible be held accountable, and this remains Azerbaijan's official position regarding this very matter. Yet following a recent telephone conversation between President Aliyev and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, relations between these 2 countries only appear to have entered a tentative de-escalatory phase. Cargo movement across the Azerbaijani-Iranian border has been restored, and President Aliyev has also extended condolences following the death of Iran's previous supreme leader, congratulated the new supreme leader, and also humanitarian aid is being sent from Azerbaijan to Iran as well. But still, many analysts see these gestures as part of Baku's effort to test whether Tehran is capable of responding constructively or whether tensions are likely to persist. But to discuss the wider strategic quadrangle involving Azerbaijan, Turkey, Iran and Israel in the context of the unfolding regional crisis, I'm joined by 3 distinguished and eminent guests. Dr. Erik Rudensköld, Senior Fellow at the Caspian Policy Center and former Director at the US National Security Council, joining us from Washington, D.C. Ambassador Mehmet Fatih Ceylan, retired Turkish diplomat, President of the Ankara Policy Center and also Turkish Atlantic Council. Joining us from Ankara, Turkish capital, and Mr. David Rosenthal, political scientist, journalist, economist, international affairs analyst, a man of many hats, joining us from Colombia, Bogota. Well, welcome to all of you, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for joining.
Thank you.
Dr. Erik Rudensköld, I would like to start by understanding the scope of what happened in the context of Nakhchivan strike. Many analysts would agree that the threat, that fire emanated from Iranian territory, probably linked to IRGC elements there. We see dichotomy when it comes to the civic leadership and also hard elements there. The question there is Azerbaijan and Turkey have reacted in a very coordinated fashion. In the case of another attack against Azerbaijan and Turkey, what should be the reaction of these 2 countries, you think?
Well, I think what we've seen so far is a calm and deliberate approach to what is foreseen by all of the government surrounding Iran as an area of incredible concern, a fear of spillover militarily, refugees, is a potentially destabilizing issue for the entire region. And I think, again, if we see leadership out of Baku, out of Ankara, out of all of the surrounding countries, we've seen Turkmenistan and Armenia be very concerned as well with I think, correct responses, that the need to remain calm, but also, I think, to be on guard. We've seen military elements be put on alert. I think all of that is appropriate. Hopefully, we don't see the spillover, though.
Thank you very much indeed. Ambassador Ceylan, in the light of what is widely described as Article 5 style mutual defense clause between Turkey and Azerbaijan emanating from the Shusha Declaration, which has been ratified by both parliaments. So it's effectively, we talk about treaty. Azerbaijan and Turkey are treaty allies. Turkey and Azerbaijan, and in the context of the strategic alliance between the two countries, how do you assess the level of coordination between these two countries? And in the case if we witness further instance of spillover of the conflict into Azerbaijan in Turkish territory, what we should expect from these two countries?
Well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me to your program. But at the outset, let me deplore in the strongest terms the dastardly attack committed by Iran against the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. I'm talking about the drone attacks to Nakhichevan region. It is simply unacceptable, and at the same time, it raises the specter of the spillover effect of this ongoing conflict in our immediate neighborhood. As for the Turkish reaction to the attacks, ballistic missile attacks that violated Turkish airspace, we are taking national measures and also having the necessary consultations and coordination with NATO members. National measures on land, at sea, and also in the air. Now there is air policing around the clock, and also early warning systems are all active, including the AVAX aircraft we have in Turkey. And I'm sure that the information and intelligence that Turkey collects or detects would be duly shared with Afghanistan to prevent such attacks against the territorial integrity of both countries. Of course, airspace is part and parcel of territorial integrity, and the recent acts by Iran are simply unacceptable. And that message has been clearly communicated to the Iranian side, I believe both by Turkey and also by Azerbaijan. Of course, we would not like to have the ongoing conflict reaching wider dimensions, which would also include the South Caucasus, as you have said in your introductory remarks. So I think both countries, Turkey and Azerbaijan, should increase their contacts, consultations, and coordination to prevent such attacks causing damage, material damage. So these are my ideas.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you. Very good. Mr. Rosenthal, Iran is a very specific entity. That the first person of the country's supreme leader, a new leader, has been appointed or elected by the Assembly of Experts, Mojtaba Ali Khamenei. I mean, what Azerbaijani and Turkish policymakers have been discussing over the past few days, who is making decision there? I mean, with regards to the latest attack on Nakhchivan, what we noticed, within the same time space, basically within 24-hour time space, we heard from IRGC commander saying that Azerbaijan has to remove, if to use his language, all the Zionist elements from his territory. Otherwise, Azerbaijan will be a natural target for Iran. And we also heard from Foreign Minister, Deputy Foreign Minister, President Pezeshkian himself saying that Iran is not really targeting its neighbors, in particular, of course, neighborly countries, Muslim majority countries. We see the element of mixed signaling coming from Iran, and many believe it's a deliberate thing there. They're doing it deliberately. What is your evaluation and sense of the current situation when it comes to decision-making regarding all the vital issues?
Yeah, I think that it's very strange that Iran attacked like countries like Turkey and also Azerbaijan because it's supposed that they are the allies. So it's also like Muslim countries. So I think that now Iran is in a very complicated situation. They think that they will attack all the countries, even his allies, and that's it, no? But the problem for them is that Israel and the U.S. They with their intelligence like Mossad and CIA, they are making a very good job. So the decisions of Iran, also his military corps and intelligence, are not the best. You know, like they are very confused. So they are attacking like all the countries. Suppose that they are the allies. So this situation made that they can start a big war in all the area, like it's already start. And Israel, for example, they just try to make the Iranian people free, that become in the freedom that the terrorists and theocratic regime of Iran imposed it to them, and you know that a lot of people was murdered. Demonstrations that took place in the last weeks. So Iran is in a very complicated situation. I think they are trying to take countries, even the allies in this war. So let's see what happened after with Russia, for example, or also with China.
Indeed, Iran is in a very complicated state, and that makes Azerbaijan's situation and Turkey's situation regarding Iran case incredibly complicated as well. Dr. Eric Ridenschold, in the context of President Aliyev's approach to this crisis, on the 5th of March, at a meeting of the National Security Council, he used a very incredibly strong language. He said something along the lines that this stain will never be erased from your ugly and unsightly record. And he said that it's an act of terror against Azerbaijani state, Azerbaijani territory. I mean, many analysts who have been following President Aliyev's speeches and rhetoric would say he, at the time, had been informed about the facts on the ground. He knew everything there. But also, with all of the things borne in mind and there, President Aliyev also spoke to, received a call from President Pezeshkian. He sent humanitarian aid to Iran, congratulated the new supreme leader. The impression given is that Azerbaijan is trying to see to what extent Iran is capable of constructive spirit. And also Azerbaijan wants to be understanding towards Iran's current predicament. What will become of this situation in your judgment in the coming days?
Well, I think hearing from President Aliyev, first, a very strong response to an attack on his sovereign territory. You got what was a very appropriate sense of shock by the president. And then he followed up sometime later with more conciliatory clarification, that saying that Azerbaijan would not participate in operations against Iran at that time. And I think, he's seeking to find that balance in the middle in what is an otherwise very tense situation, a lot of unknowns. And honestly, the question of who is he supposed to speak with? You have the president, you have potentially a new ruler in the grandson of Khamenei. There is a lot of instability within Iran itself. We have to recognize the fact that in terms of popular support, the government in Iran did not really hold a vast support among the population. I think about 20% of the population supports the government, according to the last votes. So 80% do not support the old government per se, the hardline government. So how stable that government is a question. And in any kind of leadership vacuum, there's all sorts of potentially inherent instabilities, and that makes it very complicated for Azerbaijan, for countries in the region to know who to talk to and how long you're going to be talking to those people. Azerbaijan's relationship with other countries in the region, with Israel, are very important, and strategic coordination among them, I think, is absolutely vital at this point. I'm pleased to see President Aliyev reaching out and speaking to Turkey, to Armenia, to all of his neighbors. And I think that's the kind of effort that is going to be needed to navigate through this tight time.
Indeed. It's very difficult to establish who is actually governing the nation, who is actually in charge of the face of the nation in Iran. Ambassador Ceylan, one of the things that I would like to specifically put to you as a question is what President Donald Trump said. He recently said a few days ago that he does not want Kurdish groups, he used the word Kurds, a very loose term, of course, to become involved in the current conflict, saying that the situation on the ground is already extremely complicated. There's no need to overcomplicate it, so to speak. He also added that by the end of this crisis, the map of Iran may not look the same. That's what he said. Two questions that I would like to put to you. First of all, when people like Trump and others refer to the Kurds in this very context, who exactly are they talking about in the first place? Are they talking about the Kurds inside western Azerbaijan province of Iran or in northern Iraq? This is one question. And of course, second question is that how do you interpret the suggestion that Iran's territorial configuration could change as a result of the current crisis? He made this statement, of course, a couple of days ago, and a lot has happened since then, but still.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And with regard to your previous remarks and the comments made, what I should like to add is that it seems that there seems to be disunity in the command and control chain within Iran, and also a disconnect between civilian authorities and the military people. Remember, I mean, a few days ago, Pezeshkian said that he is delegating some authorities to provincial governors. And the picture we are witnessing right now is that it seems IRGC is taking in the reins of command and control, albeit with cracks in it. That's how I infer from what I see and read. And this is very risky. I mean, the loss of command and control unity is very risky for any country under such circumstances. And I hope this will not add to the already deteriorated situation that has become dominant in our immediate neighborhood, in the region as a whole. With regard to your second, I mean, President Trump is vacillating from one rhetoric or narrative to another in a matter of a few days. So I'm not in a position to kind of comment on what he meant by referring to the Kurds living in Iran or the northwestern parts of Iraq. There have been some alleged information that CIA and Mossad are in touch with those people, but I think, I mean, this is unrealistic. He had telephone conversations with Masoud Barzani in Iraq and Bafel Talabani, and I believe that he didn't get the responses that he may have wanted to hear from these leaders in northern Iraq. So this is not something that would be of any use to anyone, including our countries in the region. And we don't see any kind of end game in this conflict. No exit strategy, as far as I can see, which is lacking. The objectives changing from time to time, including some, ethical elements in it. But I think that would be a kind of non-starter, both for Iraq and also for Turkey. I think this is not any option whatsoever, as far as I can see, and that would change the perceptions in the region, with particular emphasis on Turkey's position.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I mean, yeah, indeed, objectives are changing on a daily basis. We earlier heard from Defense Secretary of the United States, Mr. Hector, and basically many would say that he was effectively projecting an image of a grand victory. And if President Trump comes forward and says that we achieved the greatest victory in the history of humanity tomorrow, I don't think anybody will be probably surprised. Mr. Rosenthal, I would like to specifically ask about Iran's decision-making process. We already talked about this decentralized system, but what do you make of the newly appointed or elected new supreme leader, Mojtaba Ali Khamenei, at a moment when the country is already under extraordinary pressure? Because President Donald Trump earlier said that do not appoint a new person, we're going to target that person and we're going to exterminate him, but that person, new supreme leader, has not been targeted as yet. How do you see his future?
Okay, I think that the new leader, the new supreme leader of Iran, the son of Ali Khamenei, he has a big challenge now. He needs to operate and cooperate with US. If not, they will be surrendered, they will be attacked, and possibly the end of his history, of his life, will be the same of his father. So I think that now Iran has a big challenge, but also can have an opportunity to cooperate with America and even to decide to leave the power. I think this will be the idyllic situation, but maybe will not be the real situation. So I think that now also the new leader can become more hard, strong with his political decisions and decide to attack stronger Israel. But this will be a bad situation to Iran, especially, of course, also and all the neighbors. But in this situation, if Iran decides to continue the war, I think that Trump, America, and also Netanyahu and Israel will decide to attack stronger Iran, and this can finish in a big war. We are talking now about of the third worldwide. That is not a crazy idea, because if other countries like even Turkey, that we are now with someone of this country, and also Azerbaijan in this, like we are here in this channel talking. So I think if Azerbaijan and also Turkey and also Russia even enter in this war, now we'll have a third worldwide war, and this will meaning a very, very bad situation for all the Western and also the Eastern world. So it's not that we want, but it's in the hands of the new leader, that also I think he will be targeted by America and the intelligence of Israel and America. And at the end, he can be also like a death leader in the short future if he decides to continue the war against Israel and against America.
Thank you. Dr. Rudenscholl, one of the key attributes of Azerbaijan in the South Caucasus is that it's a country so crucial to Middle Corridor, connecting Europe with China, with Central Asia. And recently, and this is one of the subjects that Caspian Policy Center has been discussing and analyzing in depth at length. According to Azerbaijan's State Security Service, the information was, I think, made public on the 6th of March, if memory serves me correctly. Some of the assets targeted by Iranian-linked intelligence networks included critical infrastructure such as the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline, which is an incredibly important element connecting Azerbaijan via Georgia and with Turkey. How do you evaluate the retaliatory space of Iran? Because many analysts say that after the killing of the supreme leader, Iran was bound to retaliate out of the ordinary, and therefore those assets in the region, which are not really military assets, they're not related to the United States in a military sense, could still be targeted by Iran. How do you evaluate the extent of Iran's retaliatory space, Dr. Rudenschold?
It's a great question. We've seen Iran attack not just in the Middle Corridor region, but we've seen them attack water desalination plants on the Arabian Peninsula. We've seen them go after targets which are definitely civilian in nature. And I think, yes, the BTC, Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline is within reach of Iran, but I guess the big question is, what do they gain by these kinds of attacks? Will this dissuade Azerbaijan from taking action against Iran? Not at all. In fact, it'll be due to quite the opposite. And to a degree, we've seen countries around surrounding Iran start to galvanize opposition to these kinds of actions. So I think for the new leadership there, it is a question of risk and reward. What do they gain by these kinds of attacks, and does it benefit Iran in the long term? I would argue it does not. But in the short term, we certainly see the countries of the region preparing their own militaries to be able to respond as needed. And I think, as already has been mentioned, the potential for this to spiral into something larger is definitely possible. But again, I think listening to the leaders of the region, speaking with each other, coordinating responses, I think, and mutual security arrangements that exist, I think is certainly something that can help dissuade Tehran from taking these sorts of actions. But from our perspective, the attacks on infrastructure along the Middle Corridor and potentially the TRIP corridor, the Trump
route for
basically rail and trade connectivity line makes a big difference and could draw more powers into a larger conflict.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm so grateful to all of you. Sadly, our time is already up. I would have loved to put a few more questions to Ambassador Ceylan and Mr. Rosenthal, but sadly we have to finalize now. I'm so grateful to you for your answers. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, this latest and ongoing unfolding crisis involving the Islamic Republic of Iran and its adversaries has created a new strategic reality across the wider Middle East, with clear implications for this region, for the South Caucasus as well, and of course naturally for Turkey, for Azerbaijan's key treaty ally. It seems that what we have seen so far suggests that despite heightened tensions and occasional media speculation, coordination between Azerbaijan and Turkey remains incredibly strong. At the same time, Azerbaijan continues to maintain its strategic partnership with Israel, whilst also seeking to preserve constructive relations with Iran, as we have seen from the latest telephone exchange between President Aliyev and President Pezeshkian. But Azerbaijan's position regarding what happened 5th of March and Nakhchivan attack remains the self-same, and of course apology is still demanded, and that will remain so. Well, much now depends on how events inside Iran unfold in the coming weeks and months. Despite the appointment of a new supreme leader, the future trajectory of the Islamic Republic of Iran remains very uncertain indeed. You've been watching Context, and see you very soon indeed.